Hi class, I want to share the data from the survey yesterday, and then I want to discuss the hidden lesson that I put in that survey, because it wasn't just about the cameras for me. It was really about argumentation and logic. And then lastly, I want to share one tip to improve your sentence structure. I'm seeing a common usage of because in your writing that I do too, and I want to give you a technique to improve that. So let's start with the data. It was just kind of fun to see everybody engaging on this idea. And the majority really don't seem to be worried about it, which is good. I think that's, we have two possible extremes. We have, yes, we need them on, and then we have no. And in the yes category, there's probably more teachers that feel that way than students. And in the no category, 26 of you said absolutely not. That's a pretty good number out of 93 kids. So I think honoring those voices is really important, even if 60 of you are in the middle and are kind of like, I either don't care, or I think it should be kind of my choice at times, or I really appreciate it when we're just working or reading quietly at home or in the classroom that I have that opportunity to turn it off and come back, those screen breaks. So I think the majority of you are at a 2, and that really shows, it reveals that we're starting to get comfortable with this, and you do recognize, you engage more when the camera's on. For the 24 of you who are like, absolutely not, or your camera doesn't work, or things are really loud at home, or you're helping take care of a younger sibling at times, we got to honor your voices. And that was my life during the summer. For those who are on the yes or in the middle, let's recognize it's not only about our thoughts and our lives. From my life of privilege that I have 1,300 square feet at my house and 4 rooms and my own office, and my wife works from her office in the home. And not everybody has that. Some people share a bedroom. Some people's workspace is just like everybody else's in the house. So let's expand our horizons. That's really what the survey was trying to teach you. Now, argumentation. This is, my juniors, you're probably going to have to take the SAT, and the seniors who didn't take it, guess what? It's probably still coming. But this is a common life experience of arguing and trying to convince somebody to go along with you. We're in the middle of election. We have arguments happening for our culture that have been going on for 100 years. And there's gray areas and nuances, and we live in a time of the internet that tries to make everything so simple, and it's not. It is not a simple thing. So the first thing you were doing is you were making a claim. A claim is your position to an argument. My claim last week was, we should not be directly requiring cameras at all times. We cannot be doing participation points in that way because that is unfair to those who can't do it. And we shouldn't be yelling at kids, young adults, on camera to turn your camera on in front of the class. We should be finding other techniques as teachers. That's my claim. Other teachers had different ideas. That is their rebuttal. A rebuttal is when somebody offers a different opinion or tells you why you're wrong. And that's what you were acknowledging in the second part of the survey. Some of you struggled with this, or you just didn't really know that you should be writing more, which is fine because it's formative. There's no points attached to this. Some of you were only writing like a little phrase rather than complete sentences. But a rebuttal might be, yes, I need to see their faces to take attendance. Okay, I get that. Another rebuttal might be, no, I need to see their faces so I see that they are engaging at all times in the room. It's important, just like in school. I also want my students to engage. I would respond to that teacher and say, yeah, I hear you. Engagement is going to be a problem while people work from home. And I recognize that when you can see your face, it helps to see that eye contact. It makes it better. I get that. Now, here's my counter argument. Counter argument is when you acknowledge the other side, but then you express a weakness to the logic or a different viewpoint that hasn't been considered. So this idea of engagement, I need to see their face to know they're engaged. No, you don't. No, you don't. It feels better, but just because somebody's on camera doesn't necessarily mean they're engaged. I loved what Anthony Ward said. We have to learn to trust students. You're totally right. And if there isn't trust there with your teacher, and if there isn't trust between teacher and student, then how does learning happen? Adam, you had a really good point. You said it's also somebody's choice to do the work. As young adults, we need to pass some of the ownership on to you. And as teachers, we also need to ask a different question. Why isn't a student feeling engaged with the material? Samantha, yeah, yesterday you shared openly, and we both agreed that sometimes Shakespeare just isn't that interesting, and it feels really old, and it's hard to read, and why are we doing it? And I love Shakespeare, but even I shared that I fell asleep when my wife took me to a play for a different Shakespeare play. So my question is, if kids aren't engaging, and you think you need the camera on, maybe the lessons need to improve. Maybe the teacher and the students together need to figure out how to make this work in a way that is engaging. So hear how that counter argument found a new way to look at it. And I think, it's not that one is right or wrong in this. Oh, some teachers want to assign participation points. Shout out to Jesse, who said points should not be taken away. That was your counter argument, and it was solid. And I wish Jesse would have added some more reasoning why in his paragraph. And I'm going to do it for him because points should be taken away because what if your camera doesn't work? Points should be taken away because what if your life changes from day to day? And one day you feel comfortable, but then something happens in your life. For example, right now, my dog is really sick. Yesterday, my wife had to rush Lois to the vet, and she was gone for 5 hours, and we're probably going to have an $800 vet bill by the end of this to save Lois's life because she's got pneumonia so bad, she didn't look good. So I'm a little stressed out, and maybe I'm not. I'm okay. I think Lois will be fine. But let's just pretend I had been crying all night, and my eyes are puffy, and if I didn't put makeup on that day and didn't feel comfortable, for those who do that, for whatever reason, maybe you don't feel comfortable that day. So let's be proactive. You should send me an email if you're feeling a little anxious or if something's not working. Overall, the class has been participating really well, and I really appreciate it. To review, I was trying to show you claim, rebuttal, counter-argument. Writing more is your data, and me sharing the numbers is the data. This is classic argumentation, and it's what you have to do on the SAT essays, and it's what we have to do when we get pulled over by a police officer and try to argue why we shouldn't get a ticket. Claim, data, warrant. I didn't talk about the warrants. Claim, data, rebuttal, counter-argument is what I was teaching you about logic. Final point, because I want